Leo Sun and Rising. Welcome to your July 2023 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So July is slightly more chill than the last few months. There are less major transits. The big story is that Venus is going retrograde in your sign. And so what will that mean? Well, we will get to that. First, I like to do things in order. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the full moon on July 3rd at 11 degrees of Capricorn. So for you guys, this is occurring in your 6th house. The 6th house is a practical house. It's the house that Virgo rules in astrology. So it's dealing with Virgo type of things, which are service to others, otherwise known as work. It has to do with health issues and pets. For some reason, that seems so random. But anyway, and also your daily routine, which is basically just, how your day is ordered. So like your work schedule, if you work from home, when you do things. So the full moon can bring some of this into heightened awareness. Also, the 6th house can be the workspace and the co-workers. So, there's always that possibility if you've already had kind of like a weird vibe in the workplace that, you'll find out something about co-workers that has to do with whatever's going on. The full moon can bring something to fruition. So there's always the chance that a person gets a raise or a promotion, something is increased, but also endings. So it can be the last straw. So if that's something that has been kind of bothering you, that could certainly be the case. Now, I don't know if in this particular year that I would say, because, you always have full moons and new moons, but I don't know if that's really something that I would think is more probable this time around. It depends, because since you're going to have that Venus retrograde in your sign, you may be looking at issues connected to self-esteem. How much do you value yourself, Leo? And, we tend to think of Leos as very confident, dynamic people, but Leos are different. Not every Leo is the same. Some Leos, I'm talking about Sun in Leo right now. Some Sun in Leo people are they could be very insecure because maybe they, have the moon in Pisces. Maybe they have, Mars in Virgo, and they just want to serve others, and they get taken advantage of on a regular basis. There are so many possibilities. If your rising sign is Leo, you could have, anything as your sun sign. So that wouldn't really, I'm really talking now about Leo personalities pertaining to the sun sign when I talk about that specific scenario. And so, so that there could be some kind of drama in the workplace or some kind of attainment. On the 10th, Mars goes into Virgo. Virgo is a sign after you, so this is the house after you. This is the 2nd house, and this is the house of earned income. Mars is on a mission. When it's in the 2nd house, it's like, okay, let's, make some money here. So there's a physicality about making money, like a real strong desire. Leo is already a workaholic, so that certainly won't hinder you in that regard. You just want to make money for some reason. So if for instance, if you have gotten a promotion, you may have more work on your plate at this time. Who knows? More responsibilities. And this is reflecting this. Although, I have to say, this is a transit, so it's not permanent. It's definitely not an outer planet. It's a personal planet, so it's going to be a quick transit through this area. So it sounds like it might be some kind of temporary situation where you might have to maybe put in some more hours, or you want to do it for whatever reason. On the 11th, Mercury goes into your sign. That means that Mercury is out of the 12th house, which is good because that can be kind of weird, and Mercury's in the 12th. Now it's in your first house, and it's great for you promoting yourself, aligning with your vision in life, and being able to communicate that vision. On the 17th, we have a new moon at 24 degrees, 56 minutes of Cancer. So basically 25 degrees of Cancer. And so this is that 12th house. So this is a late degree new moon. So you have had, this past month has been the hibernation period for Leo before you make your debut. So the new moon here is kind of like capping off this hermit period with new beginnings in the area that is connected to the 12th house. So anything to do with your spiritual life, for instance, might be front and center at this time. And then on the 22nd, 5 days later, the sun goes into Leo. So that's your solar return period. Happy birthday to those Leos who are born in July. But on the same day, Venus goes retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. So it'll be interesting because next month, the new moon in Leo is going to be at 23 degrees. So it's not really that close to the Venus retrograde at 28 degrees. So maybe that's not going to be as interesting as I thought. Let's talk about this Venus retrograde. Okay, for everyone, a Venus retrograde can be a period where someone comes back into the picture, or at least tries to come back in the picture. You control whether you allow somebody to come back in the picture, Leo. And this is happening in your first house, so even like your physical appearance you may be rethinking something. Now, what they say is during a Venus retrograde that people may be tempted to get, I think they said tempted to get like some kind of change with their appearance because they're rethinking it, but it could be something where they regret it later because it's not what they thought it was going to be. They were kind of bewitched by the Venusian energy, and it caused them to, it's like having beer goggles or something like that. Now, how I feel about it is that our physical appearance is superficial. Yes, there are some very extreme things that people do for physical appearance, but to me, those things aren't necessarily connected to beauty per se. Getting a sleeve of tats is not really, I don't think people are doing it to look good. They might think it looks cool, but not necessarily good or beautiful. But whatever, just putting it out there that sometimes that can happen. And they also mention these big ticket purchases because Venus can be luxury, like luxury items. And if you buy something that costs a lot of money and then you have buyer's remorse, that sort of thing. Well, I mean, to me, unless you didn't have the money really to spare, otherwise it's kind of an inconvenience, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. So what I would focus more with Venus retrograde are your values and how do they jibe with what you're presenting with Venus in the first house. You know, do you feel that, you know, how you present yourself is how you would, or is like a reflection of your self-worth? Because with Leo, as some of you know, and this might show up a lot in the ascendant of Leo, because that is kind of how you behave around other people. And to me, it can even be a defense mechanism, the ascendant. How do you behave? Do you act cocky? Do you act arrogant because you really feel insecure inside? And how does that play into your relationships with other people? Do you find that you create negative vibes when you are doing that? Sometimes, you know, if somebody is a full-blown narcissist, they're not going to be really reflecting too much, because they're very, very, you know, not detached, but they're just very, very disconnected from their true self. But everything's on a spectrum. So some people may do things. You know, I'm a Sag. All fire signs can be arrogant. When I was younger, I think I acted pretty full of myself, especially with my looks. But I mean, not like putting other people down, but just like, you know, acting like I was like all that, you know what I mean? And that was because I was very, very insecure. But I wasn't mean about it. It was just like, you know, just that not having enough humility, I would say sometimes. And that was due to insecurity. And you know, believe me, you can get humbled right quick in life. So just remember that, people. It's really funny. There's this. I keep seeing this video, these little shorts, with this woman walking like in downtown New York. Some of you may have seen it, and she wears these revealing outfits, and she kind of like really like a Leo. She kind of flaunts her beauty, almost like in a comical kind of way. And they're just trying to like record people's reactions to her, and it's just kind of funny because it's like, it's, to me now, looking back on my earlier days, it just, to me, it's so full of illusion, like that really matters in life. And there's a part of myself that never really bought into it, but it was a way to feel good about myself when I didn't really in other ways, when I didn't have confidence. So just keep that in mind during this Venus retrograde, and even about your looks as well. Like, you know, are you attached to them? If you are attractive, how do you, you know, use that, or try to get away with things because you think that you can? And how does that relate to your self-esteem? But you know, Venus is a benefic planet, so you might still have blessings bestowed upon you even when Venus is retrograde. So it's just a very interesting thing. So we'll see what happens. And if anybody comes into your reality that is from your past, you don't have to just jump right into something. You can be cautiously optimistic. Okay, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings called Deep Dive, that are an hour of natal chart analysis, an hour of transits for the upcoming 12 months for a special price. I also have one with the tarot called the Whole Enchilada that is similar to that, which is, you know, also discounted price, package deal. Then I have individual readings. You can find out more at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.